Good evening, everyone. This is delicious. Don Juan, the Texas treat, and you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I am joined this week by Tommy.
You.
And of course, we got Mike.
Mike, I love wrestling and love always wins. Boom.
Well, it's a very weird thing to see WWE programming on something other than the network. And it's weird to say that because for so many years it was just a pay-per-view thing for us. But our Twitter account at @CCG_WrestleCast and subscribe here at Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Today we're going to recap WWE FastLane and talk a little bit about the Ring of Honor 19th anniversary show. And it's weird because we didn't get an 18th anniversary show because COVID kind of canceled that one. So it's actually nice to be talking about
The past versus present show was going to be so good.
Does that mean Bacon was the MVP of the 18th anniversary show?
Pretty much. And all of his cousins. Yeah. So also later we'll provide you guys a little bit of update on our Spring Madness tournament as we have a Final Four and more information on how to vote for that. Now let's start with Fastlane. And before we get into the actual matches itself and how the story went down, we're going to kind of compare a little bit how WWE Network did it versus how Peacock did it. Obviously, this was the one pay-per-view that's going to be on both platforms. Mike watched it on WWE Network. I watched it on Peacock. And I guess from someone who's obviously used WWE Network for a while, I guess the biggest difference, obviously, right now is that there's no live feed channel. Obviously, if you go to WWE Network right now, you always have that one dedicated live channel. They're showing shows. They'll cut into the pre-show. And on Peacock, it was more of, okay, click on this thing at this time, and then we'll go live to it. And they kind of meshed in the pre-show and the main thing together. Now, Mike, you were reading something about it. I've told you about it. You had some concerns about this, about what WWE really needs to fix with Peacock before they get into WrestleMania. So, I
mean, I would think if you make this big deal to sign up with Peacock, it hopefully just doesn't become a we took the money and then leave it up to what it is. But you think you would have this thing prepared in a lot of good ways, and I understand like Peacock is kind of running the app, but I don't know. I just feel like there would be some sort of communication or WWE would have some input from stuff I've seen, because I was saying right off the bat, I was looking online and someone was like, "Hey, I'm on Peacock and I came late to the pre-show. How do I restart it from the beginning?" Well, that's not an option on Peacock. You can't start from the beginning. Every time you turn on a WWE Network, whatever it is, whether it's the pre-show or the pay-per-view, you always get that option: watch live or restart from the beginning. And apparently, as of right now, you don't have that with Peacock. And then it has it has all the regular features we've come to know from the. So like you can't, apparently even in the middle of the live show, you can't rewind it if you miss something or you want to go back and check. It's a live show, from what I understand, and when it's done, it's over. And I mean, WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. I'm afraid that if they don't at least add some little adjustments before then, this might look bad on them. And I know you mentioned earlier we were talking off the air about, well, they can, it's Peacock's fault, but I mean, WWE fans, not everyone, especially having gotten used to the network, knowing that you can kind of, restart or start late, and we how many times have we watched? We're like, oh, I'm 10 minutes behind the live feed. Well, if you can't do that, especially for WrestleMania, that's I have a feeling that might draw the ire of some people. So,
Yeah, definitely, especially for parents that need to put their kids to bed, and you want to pause so you don't miss anything, and then that kind of happened to Tina and I because I couldn't really pause during McIntyre and Sheamus, so I missed the entire whole blue face paint that McIntyre sported, and I think we caught like the very, very end of Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. Enough time to
Of
see
course
the
you
thing.
did.
That
Of
was
course
more that
you did.
mattered anyway. So
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. Like, Mania is supposed to be the big event. This is a 2-night thing. You don't want to miss any of it. Well, if you're trying to get the kids to bed and want to pause at this moment, you could have issues. Yeah. So,
Or if JC's Alexa sense starts tingling, he's like, "Oh, something's about to happen with her." Oh, look.
feel a disturbance in the force. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he
that
did
you
turn
did.
over at the right time apparently. So
yeah. I will say this, though, comparing Network and Peacock, and I've said so many times here, the WWE Network app on the Roku was been trash ever since they got rid of working. They revamped it and they got rid of working with MLB on that. It's constantly I'm getting random messages like, "Uh oh, no network detected," and then it just goes away. Or I'll get error messages like, "So the issue with the stream," and it stopped. And that I've been having that issue for so long. So I was interested to get to Peacock anyway because this is the only ride we're going to have available to us in about a week or two, and no issues. No connection issues whatsoever. It might have stopped and skipped for a second, but there was maybe like a split second, like I barely missed anything. So a lot more stable connection. It was really, really good. So that's hopefully they can improve on that. So
Also, some people are laughing because they do have some older stuff like that you can access, but they are labeling it like TV shows, like Peacock does. So there's like Raws from I don't know, let's say 99 or whatever, and it's
right,
like season 8, episode 32. They're listed like
yeah,
they're a TV show, or the WrestleManias are like season 1, episode 1, and it's one episode per WrestleMania. So people have to like do math if they want to go to a specific WrestleMania. Like, there's just some little things that I know they said all their stuff will be ported over by SummerSlam. I kind of hope all these things are at least fixed in a reasonable amount of time because I think you're going to get a lot of complaints if things don't. At least little changes as we go along that start slowly by slowly, kind of making it more user friendly. Because it just doesn't sound like it's very user friendly at the beginning.
yeah. I need to explore it a little more. I know there's like a WWE hub channel, if you will, when you click on it. And that it's supposed to have like the library, and I see how it's organized that way, but I haven't really dug deeper into see how they have that set up. So that's something I'll definitely have to look into and see what's changed there. Now on to Fastlane itself. This was a pretty decent card overall. Nothing. I mean, nothing really stood out. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it served its purpose. It's getting us to WrestleMania. It introduced us to really that just any Peacock subscribers like, okay, what is this? And that's one way to kind of look at it if people don't know, right?
Yes, I'm through season 6 of Parks and Rec. What should I watch now?
Exactly.
Fastlane.
I will say, and I think it's not very often you see a Universal title match steal the show. And I kind of want to start with that because this is really the main storyline, I think, surrounding the title picture going into WrestleMania. Mike, you pretty much predicted it. Like Roman was going to win because Edge was going to cost Daniel Bryan the match, and in a way, he kind of did. As the guest, of course. So
Yeah, honestly, I guess I feel like they've been teasing it, but after the last SmackDown and after the show, I was really convinced that they are going to try to turn this into a triple threat, and I'm a little surprised because I thought Edge was getting a pretty good reception, but Daniel Bryan is just so ridiculously good and charismatic that he just kind of, put himself into this. And
right,
I think almost very similar to WrestleMania 30. I don't think that was their intention, but it's kind of like you can't deny it. I don't know if they don't trust Roman and Edge. I know a lot of people were starting to say after they set that up that Edge shouldn't beat him. Edge is an older guy, and I think it's a little bit different than a part timer coming in, because it's not like he left and retired of his own accord. But I would definitely look forward to Reigns and Edge, and I'm definitely looking forward if they add Daniel Bryan in. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a good match, no matter which way you set it.
Right.
It'd just be interesting to see what they officially do.
Now, Tommy, you didn't get to watch much of FastLane.
Yeah.
Was there a match-like result you saw that you were interested in how it went down?
There were a couple, more of like the results for like how they did them more than anything. The fact that Nia Jax and Shayna actually did win, I was shocked, because we said, we all know Vince's love for random tag teams and for tag team champions of WrestleMania. I was thinking, well, here comes Vince. Vince it up again. He still did that, but just not with this match. I was like, oh, that's shocking. So, I don't know, Retribution or Disruption, whichever you want to call them, breaking up. Did they break? I guess they broke up. They attacked him, or whatever.
Yeah, who knows what they're called now, right? So
yeah,
you
know, Decepticons, whatever they want to call themselves now. But I think it's like some of the stuff like Big E beating Apollo Crews in like 5 minutes. I guess they're gonna have a bigger match at Mania, which I agree with. That should happen. The Bliss Orton thing was just. I knew the Fiend was coming back, but I could have swore he would have caused like a DQ. And for what I saw, but I didn't see that clip. I was like, okay, so we just don't call bells anymore. Well, then again, if the Fiend's looking at you, I'd count 1, 2, 3, 2. So yeah, that's fair. But
how do you know he was looking at you? It was hard to tell where his eyes were. I don't know how much you saw or how well you've seen the picture.
Well, okay, fair enough. That mask is a bit of a train wreck. To its credit, I think that's the point. I mean. I can't hate on it too much. I'm a fan of the original Kane mask. So I can't crap on that mask too much and then say I love the original Kane mask. So
you can. You can have different opinions of different things.
The mask itself and like just the whole get up, it just compels me and amazes me as to how much Bray's brain works, how imaginative he can be.
He's like Jordan Peele to me. It's like whenever he does something like that, I'm like, dude, do you need to talk to someone? Are you okay? Because that you have to go to a dark place to think this stuff up. Are you okay, man? Do you need to dude? We're here for you, Bray.
I think it's more along the lines of like he's wanting to see this stuff come on its own and something to show the kids like, hey, Daddy was a pretty good actor, to do this and tell a long story. He's kind of been planting the seeds of this from just the whole Wyatt family days. There are hints of it, and who knows what's next, right? And how long they keep the mask the way it is. So
yeah,
I hope not long.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I have no desire to see a match at WrestleMania with the Fiend dressed like that. Like I'm not trying to claim like.
It's probably gonna happen. That's the thing,
and it's so sacred, but
Okay.
I know you mentioned it, Tommy. I was a little bit shocked that the women's tag team match got involved in the Reginald show. I'm really surprised he allowed the women onto his.
He is so random in all of this. I just. Again, this is one of the cases where I hope they make it worth it, and I will say, like I said before, yeah, their track record isn't stellar, but there have been some good moments where it's like, okay, this randomness has turned out something pretty interesting, and I'm hoping this is the case because I just don't get this right now. I really don't. I am struggling to figure out why this is so important all of a sudden, why he matters so much right now. And I'm hoping it's like, okay, you know what? I hope this translates to something that makes sense later. I doubt it severely, but I hope it does.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I don't understand, especially with what happened, why you had to go through the tag team championship match to get Sasha and Bianca like at more odds.
Thank you.
Like it's a WWE Championship match. You're telling me these two? I mean, Sasha can so naturally turn to that more heel persona. You could
Yeah.
have easily just had her be more cocky and more like, I don't care. You're the new person, which she kind of was already doing in the promos. It was kind of
Yeah.
already like, I'm the boss, her usual character. Why
Right.
you had to keep going back through Nia and Shayna and to not win the titles? Like at this point, I was like, well, if you're just going to keep doing it, you might as well do the thing you always do and put the titles on them. And then they don't, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay.
And I guess to me, it's like, okay, I hate this thing when people say that belts are props in wrestling now, because like I still value people win championships, that kind of thing to me. But now when you do a storyline like this, yeah, it kind of does, because it's like you're telling me that these two actually good wrestlers can't just win a feud for the championship. Just say you have that, I want it. Just say I want you can't. They have to suddenly be at odds because a random sommelier, who I guess that's what he is still. Is he that
Well,
anymore?
Carmella has technically fired him, so this whole thing, which was probably part of to get Carmella over, she's been dropped to the back because
Yeah.
they saw him wrestling and realized he was entertaining, which he is, but he doesn't even wrestle. He just comes out and puts on a fashion show and then gets involved in matches, and it's
Yeah,
Takes a few bumps and a random pin every now and then,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yeah. I just don't get this show. I really don't.
All right, well, on to our pick results. Tina went 0-1. Of course, the little Alexa versus Randy thing. Mike and Tommy went 3-2, and I went 5-0. Hey, not too bad, right?
You were the first one to pull a Tez.
I pulled a Tez, yeah, I think so. This year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, period. Since we started doing that,
that's true.
So it's only fitting. You kind of host the show, so that kind of makes sense, actually.
I guess. All right, on to our WrestleCast ratings: 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Mike, what was your rating for Fastlane?
I'm going to give it a 4.25 because I feel like it was a really hit or miss. Like there was no really in between match. Like it was really good, or it just didn't need to be on the show. McIntyre and Sheamus again, tore down the house. Also, on a side note, we're recording this on Monday night. Raw started with Sheamus versus McIntyre, and I kind of hope they give something to Sheamus because they beat the heck out of each other again, and Sheamus has really just been amazing setting up these two guys for their match while taking losses but beating the hell out of each other. Like you said, the Strowman, Shane McMahon, just a quick turn back. There was no point to that. I'm sorry. I've got no more time for this Fiend Randy Orton thing. It's getting so over the top and dumb. The best part about it is Alexa and her look. That's all I can say about that. Biggie Apollo maybe was the only thing, like, it didn't have a lot of time and they kind of botched the ending. So that
they
shut
did.
it down. And like I said, the Women's Tag Team Championship, I mean, there was no point to. And then the Universal Championship could have made this like an amazing show because that match and the story and Brian not being afraid of Roman and actually trying to play mind games at the beginning with him was amazing. And so there was like a couple of really awesome matches, and the rest I could have done without. So,
All right. 4.25 for Mike. Now, Tommy, you hadn't seen all of it yet, so you weren't comfortable giving a rating. You told us beforehand.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass on rating it because like I said, and also because since I didn't really want to see that, I had a low opinion of like the whole idea of the show to start with. Because I haven't seen it, my rating will be low and it will be unfounded. So I'm not gonna be that unfair. So no, I'll pass.
I had that feeling this past weekend, Tommy. Don't worry.
Fair.
I know what you're referencing, Mike. Yeah. So, as for me,
I just realized.
yeah. As for me, I'm giving this a 4, just straight 4 out of 5. it served its purpose. It wasn't really anything spectacular. Obviously, there's still some minor things they need to work on as far as the transition to Peacock, and hopefully that's all resolved because WrestleMania is just a few weeks away, right? Now then again, they had the same worry with the WWE Network originally around the NXT or the WrestleMania that year, WrestleMania 30, but they were able to kind of use a couple of shows in between there, an NXT show and some other ones to kind of work those tweaks out. So, but as for me, I'm giving this a 4, and that brings our overall rating to a 4.125 for FastLane. Yeah. Now, the story with WWE doesn't really end there.
It does not.
Does not. Real quickly, just some Hall of Fame updates. Now, obviously, with COVID last year, they could not induct any of the 2020 Hall of Fame inductees.
Sorry.
Well, they are planning to induct all of them on April 6th. So they will have a ceremony, I'm sure.
Well, are they going to induct all of them?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. So we know the 2020 class was supposed to be JBL, Batista, British Bulldog, Jushin Thunder Liger, the NWO, and the Bella Twins. And that, lo and behold, Batista's name was removed. And just without explanation, nothing like that. Nobody knew if he was going to film a movie. Everyone's like, Batista AW confirmed, all this stuff.
That was my favorite joke.
But the official word is that they wanted to postpone it so when they can have it in front of a full crowd because they feel like Batista needs that. And
fair enough.
I mean, I don't know if that's the real reason. We'll see. If he shows up at another promotion, we'll know why for sure. Now, so far announced for the 2021 Hall of Fame class is Molly Holly and Eric Bischoff. And it's weird to me thinking back to Attitude Era watching JC.
Yeah.
God, you would never see Eric Bischoff in WWE, let alone the Hall of Fame.
Molly Holly is very much deserved. Eric Bischoff is like 1996 to 2000 fans are probably losing their minds with that.
Are you going to mention the other thing that popped up on Peacock when it started?
What's that?
Did you hear about this?
Oh, I did. Wait.
There was apparently a little thing that was like, for Daniel Bryan, they were like, watch his matches, WWE 2021 Hall of Fame inductee. And people are like, what?
Oh.
So, like, it was listed on Peacock. People aren't 100% sure if that was just an error or they accidentally leaked something they weren't supposed to. So nothing's been. Well, I mean, we obviously haven't watched the entire Raw, and that probably wouldn't even be mentioned till SmackDown, if at all. But that was just kind of weird. So people weren't sure what was going on with that.
I know I would be very surprised if he's inducted this year, if it is even as true. But
yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to like even. Why would that even be like a thing they're working on just to see what they can put in or something? Very sure.
Yeah, it doesn't fully make sense to me. But
yeah.
I mean, I know his contract's coming up, but I figure he had more than just a few months this year to kind of work all that out.
Right. And he's kind of been mentioning, this might be my last WrestleMania. I don't know
because I think AJ Styles said something like this is his last deal too, right?
I don't remember about AJ. I don't know.
I think he had said something like that before. Like once these 5 years were up, he was done. So we'll see.
Maybe that's why he's teaming with Osmosis to pass it on.
Right. Yeah, so as it stands right now, this ceremony will be April 6th, probably broadcast on the Peacock Network. And so keep a lookout for that if you're interested in watching the Hall of Fame ceremony. And then the Andrade saga, if you will, all the craziness surrounding that. He was very public about the fact that he actually did go and request his release from Vince from his contract. And Vince McMahon convinced him or told him no, they denied the request. He wanted his release. And my thought is, why would you deny it? Why is this guy going to want to work for you? So it makes no sense to me.
My thing is like, okay, so you deny his release, but you're also not going to use him anymore, clearly, because you haven't at all. So I mean, what do you, this? Okay, this keeps me going back to that thing of not just AEW. It's like, what are you really like, Vince? What are you really scared of? First of all, if you were that afraid about it, you would be using him for starters. And if you don't think he's that big a draw, what do you care if he goes somewhere else? I mean, with Jon Moxley, clearly he was a big draw. You just made him. You just pissed him off. There was the difference.
Right.
So
It's another example of them like basically trying to hoard talent so they can't go anywhere, obviously. But it got a little fishy because around the time this started, Charlotte magically disappeared from the WrestleMania poster.
yeah,
A Photoshop edit, and then all of a sudden Andrade on Sunday, was officially granted his release.
Can we all appreciate the fact that when we thought there was nothing Charlotte could do to get her on Vince's bad side, lo and behold, there was something.
Okay, let's talk about what appears to be facts right now. Is simply that Andrade's been released, and it's been reported today that Charlotte actually had gotten COVID and has been recovering.
Right.
Let's talk about what sounds like some really saucy rumors, which is all speculation, but I mean,
still fun,
Still fun, yeah.
She was standing by her man. Vince gave the ultimatum, but it's either him or WrestleMania, and she chose him, so she's off WrestleMania. And I definitely don't think that's the rumor, obviously.
That's the rumor.
And she confirmed on social media that she has COVID-19. That's why she's been off TV.
right?
Yeah.
And it's allowed people to. Obviously, it would suck that we're going to keep you at home, but then WrestleMania comes around, we're just going to throw you in anyway. You should be good to go by then. It's like, no, you have no time to build anything up,
Yeah.
But I just like how people try to make it this whole love thing, Oh, she stood by her man. She did this. She did that. So I'll give up WrestleMania to be with my guy. No, she's had COVID.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that could have happened.
Could have happened. Yeah.
I've complained fairly often about the character Charlotte Flair and the way she's booked. But if that story is true, then I hate to sound like a mark, but Ashley Fleur, hands up, thumbs up to you for, you would do anything for love, and apparently you would do that. So, not on that list of things you wouldn't do. So
yeah.
I do like, though, my favorite thing about this is the tweet that Andrade did post.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm bringing this up because it's just funny.
Do it. It's hilarious.
He said, and this is from his Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. I have screenshotted it, and if JC can pull it up, then cool. But I want to thank Triple H, Heyman Hustle, and Real King Regal for all these years and great support that they gave me all these years. Also to the fans who are always supporting me. A big hug to all the talent and workers who are always behaved kindly to me. And I'm just like, there's a very big name missing from that list that he just gave.
How do you not think Shane McMahon?
You're the second person who made that joke to me, and I still find it funny. You're the second person who made the joke, and I still find it. But listen, that's my thing. It's like that's why the Undisputed Era won't leave NXT, and I don't blame them. They get to have fun down there. And now we're going to get an Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly feud in NXT. It's going to be mentally insane, and I'm here for that. It's no wonder they didn't want to leave, because Triple H is like, no, you guys don't go. You can fight each other all you want down here. I don't care.
Kyle O'Reilly's like, can I grow my hair and turn into a psycho? Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Can I wear a jean jacket and look crazy? Yeah, go.
And Cameron Grimes, can I be a rich redneck guy? That sounds awesome. Do it. Yeah, I'm a rich redneck guy. And Loomis gets to kidnap everybody on a regular basis, so No.
and be loved for it, not just by the fans, but by the wrestlers who. What's her name? Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. It's like it to me. This always goes back to my thing. Yeah, I don't think amazingly, kind of like how the women's the Knockouts division was saving TNA all those years. I kind of think NXT is doing that for WWE, because sometimes I can completely miss months of Raw and SmackDown, and I'm not even trying to. I just don't care. But if I missed something happening on NXT, I feel like I missed an entire month's worth of action. It's like that was like a month worth of story. You missed 1 week of NXT, you missed about a month worth of stuff that just happened that actually is important. So
yeah, especially with them having a 2-night show coming up as well. So there's a lot to pack in there.
Yeah.
Real quickly back to Andrade. Thoughts on where he goes when his 90 days are up? Which obviously.
No. Have you seen?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was about to say. I've heard. Yeah, Mike, go ahead. Sorry.
It's just he doesn't have the no compete clause.
He negotiated that out of his buyout, I guess.
I have no idea. It's just there was a report as he doesn't have it, so he can show up relatively soon if he wants. I mean, honestly, I guess he could probably show up Wednesday if that's where he wanted to go. But
well, do you think that's the route, AEW or Impact, or where do you guys think he ends up?
Personally, I hope he does not go to AEW or Impact. I hope he goes to ROH with Roosh and form LFI, or goes to New Japan to join LIJ. Because and this is what I tell everybody. Literally, he kind of created both stables. When you look back at the history of Los Ingobernables, it was him and Roosh who kind of created both stables. So if he joins either one, it's not him really joining. It's kind of him getting back into the game. So
the only thing, or the only reason I would think it might be ROH or somewhere more stateside is because of Charlotte. Because they are engaged. Am I not right?
Yeah, they are engaged. Yeah, they're engaged.
Right. So, I mean, I would love to see him in New Japan too. He would put amazing things on with that whole roster, but would he want to spend that much time traveling back and forth at the beginning of this? That would be my only thing. Maybe he does. Maybe she's cool with it.
Yeah, but, my thing with New Japan is, though, they do like right now they're kind of doing it back and forth because of they're trying to get back in the game from COVID. But like when they do their tours, they're off for like a couple weeks at a time. Like then they start back the new tour. And if he's not if he's a junior heavyweight, if he goes in as junior heavyweight, which he could, or heavyweight, doesn't really matter. He could stay off for like those tours, like for the junior heavyweights or for the heavyweights, and just be home the whole time.
Yeah. So I would kind of love to see that. I do think AEW is kind of starting to get a little full right now, and it's I'm sure it's good money, but is that the best for your career to really stand out right now? So
yeah.
What about you, JC?
This is weird. Like, there's so many ways you can go with this. I know for sure I don't see him going back to Mexico. I think he's got enough of a following where he stays stateside. Although New Japan is not a bad idea. Although I think right now with the way the travel is very limited, if he goes to New Japan, it might be New Japan of America.
That never gets off the
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah. But I think right now he fits in best with Ring of Honor. Depending on the result of what we're going to talk about, if Rush is still champion, there's a chance he could challenge for that and leave that stable. Or possibly even Impact. I mean, Hernandez isn't going to be wrestling a whole lot much longer. And I think they've been wanting for so many years to get into that Latino Hispanic market. And I think Andrade might be their guy to do it. He's young. He speaks Spanish. His English has gotten so much better, so he has that capability to do that. I think they might offer him a hefty amount to get him to stay to go with him. So
Andrade in a version of LAX, can you see him acting more like that?
I mean,
I'm just
untapped potential, and it wouldn't surprise me if they offered something to Thea Trinidad as well. We don't know what she's going to do once I don't recall if Charlotte IWA compete is up or not, because I think hers started in February. I can't remember, but earlier than that. Yeah, I mean, there's still a very good possibility she manages him wherever he goes to until he gets his.
Yeah, I definitely could see that possibly because it was really good in WWE, and like why? That's a whole other story, but yeah, it was really good.
Yep. All right, well, we'll see where this leads for Andrade. either way, when he's got his release, he was very excited. It was granted, and that's a great thing. He wasn't happy there. He wanted to move on to some new things, and excited to see where this goes for him. And we'll be watching. So now on to the Ring of Honor anniversary show. We're going to preview that here for a bit. We're only going to talk about the 5 championship matches as far as making picks. If there's any other match we want to call out, we might talk about that as well. Now, the first one we do want to talk about is actually going to be on the pre-show, and that's a six-man tag team championship. Shane Taylor Promotions against Mexa Squad. And now this is not like the never open weight 6-man titles where they're basically changing hands every month, right? Like these people actually have some prestige on these.
Actually, no. I will defend these. They stay pretty consistent with the champions. They do. Now, that's a good joke. I will give you that. But how? Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi have had those belts for like 4 months, and that's almost a record. So I'm taking that as a win. And good old Yoshihashi finally has a belt. 2 successful defenses under his belt. Hell yeah! Sorry, I'm just happy Yoshihashi has a championship. I don't care. I don't give a
damn. So where am I at? Okay, I think we're all in agreement that Shane Taylor is going to be retaining. I would think we'd all think that, right?
Yes. Because he deserves a rematch.
I mean, hold on though, Mexa Squad.
What about him?
If Tina was here, she might be going for La Gente. I'm just saying.
She might. Well, when we get to the main event, I'll explain how conflicted she is on that one. But
oh my God, yes.
Yeah. But I think she really. I mean, there's a lot of tie-in. She knows Shane Taylor, obviously, we've all known him, seen him on the Independents, and I think she'd be really happy to see him getting a shot, and he does need another world title shot, So
yeah.
But Shane Taylor Promotions, I think you're picking that as well, Mike. I think we can all. That are you or not?
This sounds like when you try to speak for me this weekend too. No, I'm just.
My bad.
I'm kidding. No, I probably would. I thought it was funny because it's, it is a lucha group on the other side, so.
And they've held these titles before. I think Shane Taylor, the team wanted off him, so this is kind of their rematch on it. So
right.
Now there are a few matches. Other card I'll just quickly mention. Another pre-show match. There's a 4-corner survival match. We're gonna get Mark Briscoe versus Flipcord on the main card. EC3 versus Jay Briscoe. There will be an unsanctioned match of Matt Taven versus Vincent, and a pure rules match. Dalton Castle versus Josh Woods.
And I heard Silas Young will be in Josh Woods' corner for this now. So
I believe so. Yeah. So Dalton Castle pure rules match. That could be interesting.
I mean, that's the thing with him. It's like even though he's so flamboyant, dude's probably one of the best technical wrestlers out there. He's distractingly good. Is the thing. So
I was gonna say I haven't seen him in a while. Has his character changed much, or is he still pretty?
He's toned it down, but that's because he was like getting frustrated for a while. But he's toned it down. He's still pretty crazy. He'll pull out the crazy when he has to.
Interesting.
All right, so that'll move us to the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Dragon Lee defending against Tracy Williams.
Like, wait, what?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no.
Man, Monday, right?
Right.
Tommy, where are you going with this one?
Damn, I knew you were going to start me. Okay, so
you're the expert.
I'm going to tentatively say Tracy Williams.
Okay.
Because, damn, I don't want to flip that. No, I'm going to stick with what I said. I'm going to say Tracy Williams. And I just realized I'm going to be wrong. Shit. But Tracy Williams for the belt, but only because the reason I actually want him to win, and the reason why is because he's been so good so long, and he's one of the guys who I felt the worst for when the pandemic hit. Because I feel like he was just about to hit that stride of getting the fans behind him, and then no fans could show up, and ROH couldn't run any shows. I was like, damn it! Same with Mark Haskins, because it's like, because he's been stuck in England, he couldn't even come over here. And the reason I bring him up is they did an interview with him over like a podcast recently about him coming back soon. But it's like just when these guys were hitting their stride, we were doing the thing I said ROH does best. when their bigger stars leave, they start building new stars. Tracy Williams, Mark Haskins, the rest of the guys in the foundation, LFI, they're all building these guys up. Which is why I've been saying, is like, even though they are not the force they once were, I admit that, they've been down before. Tracy Williams, I feel, is like one of those guys who you can absolutely build ROH, use him as another ROH building block. It's just like when AJ and Jerry Lynn and Christopher Daniels all left ROH. Then you were, quote-unquote, stuck with Samoa Joe, Homicide, and CM Punk. Oh my God, that's such a depleted roster. Like, those three guys couldn't wrestle each other for 2 hours straight, and every way it'd be entertaining. So,
all right, Mike, where are you going with this one?
I'm going with Dragon Lee because Tommy's picked Tracy Williams and said he knows he's going to be wrong.
yeah, it's you're probably probably the safest bet to
Actually, I was looking up the card. Is Dragon Lee doing double duty though?
Yes, and that's why I'm thinking I'm going to be wrong. So.
I mean, but I would, yeah. I'm going to go Dragon Lee still, but I'm not sure if he can win both of them, so that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Dragon Lee as well.
Oh, so it's Tracy Williams. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. They're all kind of just working. They're busy, you know. So
that's because the big thing is it's LFI and the Foundation are having this huge feud right now.
Right.
Yeah. So it seems, you know, and it's kind of interesting to see that too on a pay-per-view. You don't see it a whole lot in American wrestling pay-per-views where people are doing double duty on a show.
Yeah.
And Bonner, this is pretty much like the second time they've done it, because obviously we had Lethal and Gresham wrestling as a tag team for a while, and then they were doing their own singles things as well. So on the same night. So
I mean, on WWE shows, you can't get half the roster to do one spot. So I mean,
yeah.
Shots were fired. Okay,
Nice.
Very nice. I respect that.
All right, tag team championship. The aforementioned LFI is defending against the Foundation. Let me double check who exactly is representing the Foundation on this one.
I have his Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. That's why I was.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Now, this is the whole double duty thing, and I'm gonna stick with LFI. Maybe I'm foreshadowing a bit, but I think it's gonna be a good night for Mi Gente. The 19th anniversary.
Not a completely great night.
No, well,
I'm just.
Yeah. So, but I gotta go with LFI here. So, Tommy, what about you?
Okay, so I'm gonna pick LFI for this one, and this is why I'm wondering if I'll be wrong, if the exact reverse of what I just said will happen. Will Dragon Lee retain and then LFI use the tag belts? But I'm thinking LFI will actually retain the tag belts because they just got those, like they just won them. So
very recently. That's true.
Yeah.
And Mike, what about you?
I'm gonna go the opposite just to hedge the bet. I'm gonna say the Foundation to take the titles off them. So Dragon Lee keeps his, but loses the tag belts with Kenny King.
This is probably one of the most interesting picks we've ever done. Wow.
It makes me wonder how they're going to book this too. Are they going to do the tag team match first, and then the partners are just going to leave, and then they're going to go into the singles match? Or are they going to do the singles match and the partners come out like when they're still fighting, and then just go into the tag match? You know?
I had it pictured that way. What you just said, like right after the TV title's done, like Kenny King runs down, but because Kenny King and Rhett Titus, man, the history there, that I wonder if they'll ever play that up, because they should. All Night Express was a good tag team, and now they're on opposite sides of like this wrestling ideology. It's phenomenal to me. I love this.
Nice.
Pure Championship, Jonathan Gresham defending against Dak Draper. Mike, you're starting us off on this one. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham, just, because he's been doing that for a long time, and honestly, I don't know who the other guy is. So.
Yeah, I know. Wikipedia doesn't have a link to click on for him. Tommy, what about you?
I'm also gonna go Gresham. I know a little bit about Dak, not that much, honest, to be really honest. But I don't know. It still feels like Jonathan Gresham. I think he is like this era's like CM Punk, Samoa Joe. Like, he came along at the exact right time. He's got the athleticism. He's got the build. They want this guy to be who they build the company on. And my thing is, I firmly believe whenever he loses the pure title, that just means, oh, okay, he's going to get a world title shot like in a month. Like whenever he loses the pure title, it's like, oh, okay, he's getting a world title shot next month. Okay, cool. That'll work.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you guys. Clean sweep there. I see Gresham has really built this title back up. Obviously, I know it was reinserted very recently, but it's still got a lot of work to do. And I see Gresham holding the title being a big reason why that's going to be huge.
Yep.
Now, Ring of Honor World Championship. Rush defending against Jay Lethal. Rush, of course, held the title for over a year now. And it's funny because last week I talked about the internal conflict in this house, Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton, how it was me against Tina, much of our marriage rivalry. Well, this match is an internal conflict with Tina. And I'm gonna describe verbatim how she talked about this when I asked her who she would pick in this.
I can't wait to hear this. I really can't.
She goes, well, Rush has had the title for over a year. I think it's time he dropped it. But then again, you're trying to build up a young star, and if he beats Jay Lethal, no sé. That's all she said. No sé. She has no idea what to pick here, and I think she may not even make a pick at all in this match. And if she does, it won't be until they actually ring the bell for the match to start. So she has absolutely no clue. She loves both.
The fact
she
that
loves
this is the
them
thing that
both.
internally has broken Tina is somehow the best, and this is like the best thing I've ever heard.
Lethal is like her all-time favorite, and Rush, I think she sees as like the next really, really big star, especially Ring of Honor. Plus, mi gente, just the whole look, the whole attitude. She really enjoys seeing both of them wrestle. So
yeah,
she's gonna be fighting with herself over who's gonna win this one.
And in Tina's defense, though, it's like he said Rush had the belt a long time, but to be fair, he's still, I'm double checking. Even if he wins past the pay-per-view date, he'll still only be the third longest reigning Ring of Honor champion ever, behind Nigel McGuinness and Samoa Joe. They still haven't beat by like 100 days. Nigel out by 100 days and Joe at 200 days. Like the only reason Jay Lethal hasn't beaten by combined days is because Jay Lethal, they combined his 2 reigns. Joe still smoked everybody as far as longest reigning ROH World Champion.
Yeah,
that dude's title run was the stuff of myth, not even legend. It was a myth how long he was at that belt.
Nice.
I'm gonna pick on this one first, and I'm gonna go with Rush. I know he's held it for a while, but I feel like obviously Ring of Honor lost pretty much the entire year almost to COVID, and it kind of, rather than like them restarting things and going, they kind of put everything on pause and then moved ahead. And I think they're going to spend the next year giving Rush a decent title run, or at least him fighting for it. Like if he loses it, he'll find a way to get it back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And this is going to go a long way to establishing how legit his title holds is if he can beat Jay Lethal. So I'm going with Rush on this one. Mike, what about you?
I'm going to go with Rush. I think it's a way to establish him too with a good win over Jay Lethal. And like I said, he is that younger guy trying to come up, and not that Lethal being champion would be bad by any means, but I just think you would do more for Rush to win and kind of get some momentum back, I guess, with missing most of the years. So
yeah. All right, and Tommy, what about you?
I'm gonna go Rush as well. And because and the main reason is because I see one of 2 guys actually beating Rush. Either Shane Taylor getting his rematch and getting the belt, or Brody King, who also returned recently and staked his claim for a rematch because LFI cost both of them, Brody King and Shane Taylor, their title shots. So if anything, I see Rush keeping it, because someone's coming for vengeance. Like, it's good. He's pissed off a large angry black guy and a large tattooed white guy. Honestly, that might have been a bad idea on both cases. I don't know, I'm just saying. So It's like pissing off Keith Lee and Scott Summers. I'd rather not. So,
The good old days, right?
yeah.
All right. Well, those are our picks and a little quick preview of the Ring of Honor 19th anniversary show. We'll have more details on it, and it's actually a pretty cheap buy as well. So stay tuned for that.
I hope the 20th show is in Texas.
Yeah. Well, I think their anniversaries are traditionally in Vegas, so it's going to be weird having this one. Where it is.
I know, but I can tweet at them and Kerry Silken and Todd all I want and see what happens. You know.
And now the WrestleCast Spring Madness tournament is going on, and
woo!
Thanks to all your votes, we do have a Final Four now, guys. And here we go. Our Final Four is the RKO Diamond Cutter, the 1 seed in this whole tournament, is going to be going up against in one semifinal, the Vertebreaker / Gringo Killer, which was a 4 seed. And on the other side, the other semifinal is going to be the Stone Cold Stunner, the 7 seed, going up against the Eclipse / O-Face, which just pulled an upset off the Shooting Star Press.
I'm kind of shocked by that.
Eclipse being 6 seed, yeah. So
let us remind ourselves that the only thing that qualifies as like a pile driver in this is the Vertebreaker, and the 3 that are essentially variants of just a 3/4 face lock that's dropped into something like it's a 3/4 face lock into a jawbreaker or into a face breaker. It's the 3/4.
What you're saying is all the variations of the Ace Crusher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although the Stunner versus the Eclipse, is very interesting. One is after a kick, the other is after a top rope jump. So it's like, which way do you go with this one? So
I did just get a mental image right now in my head of like Stone Cold doing a beer bash, and for no reason whatsoever, Ember Moon just giving him an Eclipse, just like in the middle of it, and then him like recovering and being like, "All right, kid,
yeah,
that was all right. I like her. Give her a match with The Rock." Steve, she's a chick. I said, give her a match with The Rock, damn it.
and then Orton tries to come and hit an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the Hurricane shows up and like, what's up with that? Because he can't hit his
but also Orton is like, I'm not gonna wrestle Ember Moon. She'll pin you. Okay, we'll talk.
Is that going to become Orton's new gimmick?
That might be.
At this point, hasn't he earned it? All he's been through, hasn't he kind of earned it?
Like a sleazier Ace Austin, if you will. So that's
there you go.
So those are the semifinals for this tournament. Voting for that will open on Thursday. I'll have one semifinal Thursday, one on Friday, and then you'll have 2 days to vote on the championship, which will start on Saturday. And by the time we get together, we will have crowned what we think, or what you guys think, is the best wrestling finisher of all time. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Why, Rainmaker? Why? Sorry. I have to get that on my system.
And now we'll move into the 1 minute warning. Mike, did you have anything for us this week?
Sure. I can always come up with something.
Okay. Only if you want to. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go.
So I'm actually going to go back to where I go most of the time here, and this comes back to Cesaro. Y'all shared with me the tweet, and I saw it, and I liked it. Even McIntyre, apparently in an interview, said that Cesaro's deserved a push for like the last 5 years. And I was a little afraid a couple SmackDowns ago when, after Seth beat him down, Nakamura showed up, but it looks like it was just to set up that match at FastLane. And I hope this Friday they start. They make it official, Cesaro versus Seth, because honestly, it's had the most build of any match. It's had the longest amount of time spent on it, getting ready for WrestleMania. So I think it has the potential to steal whatever night it's on. Probably a first night show, but either way. And Cesaro deserves it. And I hope he goes and gets a big win on the grandest stage of them all. So yeah, there we go.
All right. Yeah, that tweet was pretty awesome, and it's getting to a point now where so many people backstage are saying this guy deserves it.
That's, I mean,
Can't afford
seriously,
it.
how many wrestlers have to be like, oh yeah, totally, he deserves it, before you're like, nah.
How many wrestlers, agents, writers? It'd be different if it was just the wrestlers, but the writers, the producers, everyone but Vince says give this guy a shot. It's like, what the hell? Damn. So,
Yeah, Vince is too busy still pumping iron in the weight room trying to keep up with all the muscle builders. So.
Yeah. Sadly, there's some truth to that.
All right, Tommy. You mentioned before we started you might have something about the New Japan Cup. Did you want to talk about that with 1 minute warning?
Yeah,
today?
I got something.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go.
And before I do that, shouts out to Mission Pro Wrestling, who had one of the best shows I think I've just ever seen. Nothing crazy, just great wrestling top to bottom. Mission Pro Wrestling, Empty Promises. If you can catch a stream of it, I think on Title Match Network, it's great. Now for the New Japan Cup, it was very surprising. The finals came down to Shingo Takagi and Will Ospreay. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I heard, as usual, those two tore it down. I mean, I don't think they can't at this point. Will Ospreay with the win, and he's going to be challenging Kota Ibushi. I think it's Sakura Genesis, I think. But the big news to me is who made it to the semifinals, which was David Finlay. And he even beat Jay White to get there. This to me proves like guys like him, like New Japan, man, they're building up some great guys, great stars. I know JC was sad. Toriano he made it to the quarterfinals, but then lost to Evil.
Still the king of pro wrestling. Damn.
Still the king of pro wrestling, though.
That's right.
But yeah, so New Japan Cup, they're getting back to form. The fans are still there, masked up and everything, but slowly but surely, they're trying to get things back to normal. And well, of course, I think I know I'm going over time, but B. Priestley, I think, is out of the United Empire now. The rumor I heard is that she's going to be committed full-time to Stardom, which I don't mind. I love Stardom, and I think that's probably where my money's going to go instead of Peacock Network anyway. Just great, just a pretty great weekend. I was kind of mad. I wanted Shingo to win, really, because I was like, come on, LIJ needs some more wins now, because Evil still betrayed them a year ago, and we need some wins. But, United Empire, I still like the stable. I want to get that shirt, but so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Just real quickly, how has New Japan handled restrictions being lifted with Japan and everything like that? Have the crowds gotten better, bigger?
The crowd, they are slowly but surely letting more people in. How they have it set up is still masked. They can't cheer yet. They still can't cheer yet.
Okay.
They have to have masks on the whole time. They pretty much have like sanitation stations all over whatever arena they're in. They have the fans leave in different like increments. I think because when I was watching the last thing I saw, like when the show was over, the announcement was like sections. This section leaves. This section leaves. That kind of way. So they're still having fans. They just can't cheer. They can clap. They can clap and they can stomp their feet and everything, but they can't like audibly cheer because what was funny was. At the last show before they unified the belts, El Phantasmo ripped off El Desperado's mask, and the whole crowd gasped, and he yelled at them, "You can't do that! You're not supposed to do that!" And I was like, "You son of a! You ripped that man's mask off and had the nerve to tell them what they can't do." So yeah, but yeah. To me it's like they're handling it pretty well. Because of them, Stardom, Noah, DDT, and Dragon Gate have let a few fans in at a time as well. It's, like I said, never to capacity, and you can tell it's still mostly empty for it to allow, like Cork and Hall especially. They can't have too many people in there. Right. But it's good because of some normalcy. But they're trying their best to just let them in when they can.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. The idea that can be the rule, and that people try their hardest to follow it, is kind of just weird to me. Like the no cheering thing. Like I don't think you could ever do that with an American crowd.
Yeah,
with any kind of success.
We're too loud. We have too much alcohol. That's
Well, see, the Japanese crowds historically have not been that loud anyway, unless it's like a super, big moment. Like even like some of their super big matches, when you go back and like watch their old stuff from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the crowds were like, energetic, but like they don't get fired up until like the whole fighting spirit of the like the main event kicks in. Like, when like you guys like have a guy like Shinya Hashimoto and Keiji Muto like tearing it up in the last 5 minutes of a match. That's when the crowd like comes alive, And I'm sure that's when it's hardest for them, especially like when when like last year, I bet like when Evil betrayed Lij, I bet that was the moment that no one like they were probably like just like fighting the urge to cheer, just like and like me at home screaming no. So yeah, I did laugh because I think Milano Collection AT was the entire Japanese crowd when Evil did that, because he was like in like audible gasps and in tears at ringside.
God, it's funny you bring up that name.
His heart was legitimately broken.
Because I remember he showed up at some of those early ACW shows with that's just a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Yeah. He retired. Actually, he didn't retire. He retired not too long after those ACW shows, and then he became a commentator. Like I think a couple of years after those ACW shows, he retired and became a commentator for New Japan. Okay. I think a little bit after that. So
he was kind of winding down his career there. So
yeah.
He had put it in his time. He was like, yeah, okay, that's enough for me. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day now.
I don't have a 1 minute warning this week. I will say that on Mike's recommendation, I started watching Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, which main evented AEW Dynamite last week, and had to stop watching it because my kids were around me. So I did. It was pretty crazy, but from what I've seen so far and from everything I've heard, I think everybody should keep that match in mind as a match of the year candidate for this year. Yeah. So I will definitely.
Even me with my Puro Wrestling New Japan love, it was like, dude, that might have been the match that took the cake this year so far, man. It was like, I couldn't believe it what I was seeing, man.
Look, I will say if Mick Foley, the hardcore legend, is put on social media a thumbs up after a thumbtack spot, I think you guys are doing well. So congrats to both of them. There's been a lot of high praise out of that match, and I do plan to just check that out. So
even
in its entirety once the kids are away.
Even Bully Ray, he's and Bully Ray's one of the guys who I feel is rightfully critical of pro wrestling. Like I'll listen to him unlike some others. But even he was like, that was fantastic. So,
all right, Ring of Honor 19th anniversary show is going to be a Friday night, March 26th, 7 p.m. Central Time. The pre-show will start at 6. They're going to have 2 matches on that pre-show. Be from the UMBC Event Center in Baltimore, Maryland. And it's only $20 on Fight TV. Pretty awesome. And of course, if you are an Honor Club member, it is free. Honor Club, of course, is $9.99 a month, or you can pay $100 for the whole year. That entitles you to all your pay-per-views for free, and then discounts on the shop as well. When they do start going to live events again, you get priority on tickets that may be in your area. So definitely check it out. I think Tina and I are talking more. We're pretty interested in getting this one. If anything for that main event, it might be worth the $20 alone.
Yeah,
so,
I'm thinking I might have to go ahead and get this one myself.
Twitter is at @CCG_WrestleCast, and of course, subscribe here on the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Let us know your thoughts on FastLane. Let us know your thoughts on how WWE Network is on the Peacock Network. And so your initial interactions with it, what do you think, and what needs to be adjusted? So, and then of course, when we talk about Ring of Honor 19th anniversary, what your thoughts are on that show. I'm sure there'll be a lot of live tweeting going on. Next week, I think we're going to give ourselves a little bit of break because WrestleMania is going to be insane that week. There's so much to talk about. So in 2 weeks, we're actually going to be doing a couple of live shows. Tuesday night, we are going to preview NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Mike and possibly Tina may also give a calculus lesson as a homage to the Stand and Deliver movie.
Okay, I'm done. That's it.
Let's go, culos. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday. And then either Friday evening or Saturday at noon here on the YouTube channel, we will preview WrestleMania 37 both nights. Working on possibly getting some guests for that one. Maybe a packed house, but it might be fun. So I'm hopefully not too
But a
crazy.
socially distanced packed house.
Yes,
Okay, that was a lame joke. I apologize.
Well, it's down to 3 feet now, so you know.
Yeah, it's down to 3 feet in classrooms now. So, but say what you want about it. Like, who decides this stuff, right? So, yeah. Unless some crazy news happens next week, we won't have a show next week. But stay tuned on Twitter if we do on some other news as that as well. If someone else asks for a release and it gets granted, who knows, right? But I think this is pretty much. I don't think they're going to add any more Hall of Fame inductees. Maybe 1 or 2 more. The Daniel Bryan one would surprise me if ends up being true.
Yeah, that was odd. I'm assuming that was just some sort of mistake.
Disgruntled employee or something like that. So,
there's no way they could put him. Sorry, now I'm thinking about it too much now. I was like, there's no way they do that, but never mind.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll kind of take a couple weeks. We'll take a week off, and then next week we're going to be the following week in 2 weeks. Excuse me. There's a lot to talk about because it's 4 nights of wrestling in WWE. So they made themselves a busy week. So
sure, when they do it, it's fine. New Japan does it, it's excessive. Whatever.
Just complaining about New Japan.
I'm just complaining about New Japan.
I think you're making this up, Tommy. You just want to.
Yeah.
You're not in the groups I'm in. That was
Fair enough.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to you guys joining us for the live shows. We'll have the schedule out. Be sure to check our Twitter and come in live chat with us, and we'll hopefully get to interact with a lot of you guys. Yeah. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC, and as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People are fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey yo, subscribe to the channel by clicking right here.
Or if you want to watch more videos, click right here.